Why the Etowah? The night before, we finally got some rain, the kind of rain paddlers pray for. It fills the rivers back up, and a group of us decided it was time to run the Dawson Forest section of the Etowah. We put in at Scenic Etowah River Park and pointed our boats downstream for a 9-mile paddle to Kelly's Bridge Road. For those of you who don't know the Etowah, it is a 164-mile river that starts up in the Blue Ridge Mountains near Dahlonega, then flows southwest across North Georgia, and it eventually reaches Rome, Georgia. The name Etowah comes from the Cherokee version of Muskogee, word meaning trail crossing, a river that's been a route and resource for people in this region for a very long time, from Native American communities to Gold Rush era to today's paddler. This particular stretch of river has a stranger history than most. The land along this section of the Etowah was once the Georgia Nuclear Aircraft Laboratory, also called Air Force Plant 67, a Cold War air facility run jointly by the Air Force and Lockheed starting in the late 1950s. The goal was to figure out whether a nuclear-powered aircraft was even possible. It wasn't. The facility closed in 1971, and a lot of it was later torn down. But if you look closely along this stretch, you can still spot remnants of old bridges and roads that once served the lab. A few miles in, we pulled off to hike Barefoot Falls. After the thunderstorm the night before, we honestly weren't sure what we'd find. The falls were only running a small trickle of water, but still the short hike was well worth it. Back on the water, we made our way to the biggest rapid on this section, Radioactive Rapid, a name that is basically a nod to the site's history. It is the highlight of this section, and running it on a SUP board adds an extra layer of excitement to the whole thing. It did not disappoint. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger.
Yeah, that was a Superman.
it was a smooth paddle down to the Takeout at Kelly's Bridge Road. 9 miles, 1 waterfall hike, 1 solid rapid. In a river with a lot more history than most people realize when they put a paddle in the water.